Okay, let's see moving iron, attracting type moving iron instrument. Okay, so I'll give you a brief detail so that you can exactly get an idea what's happening. So this is the arrangement. So this is the holder, you can say, which is containing the coil, and this is a section of holder. Okay, so if you cut from the center, that's how it will look like. So some coil wires are going perpendicular to the plane of board, that is represented by cross, and some wires are coming out of the perpendicularly out from the plane of the whiteboard, which is represented by dot zero. Okay, so here the coils are going inside, here the coils are coming out, and I have cut from the center so that you can see how the coils are arranged. Okay, so it might be circular in nature, and from center you have cut, and I have shown you this. Now the field lines are going like this. Okay, from the center. Okay, so there is a circular part, and then from the center field lines are going. Okay, so these are the field lines, and this is a piece of iron connected here with a spindle. Okay, this hole, it's fixed and it's movable. Okay, like this. Now from spindle, spring is also connected just to provide controlling torque. So it is connected to spindle. Okay, from behind the iron. It's not like it is connected to iron, it is going behind the iron and connected to spindle. Similarly, air friction is connected just to provide damping torque. Damping torque, and this is also connected to spindle. So these two parts are not necessary actually. They are providing controlling and damping torque. They are not contributing to the deflecting torque. Now what will happen, because of these field lines, iron will get attracted to inside towards the field lines. Okay, so that it will rotate in this direction with respect to spindle. Okay, now what will happen, this force of attraction on iron is proportional to the magnetization of the iron and the field intensity of the field produced by these coils. Okay, current carrying coils, they are current carrying coils. These lines, one guy like this and one guy like this, might be some connected to AC source. Okay, like this. So you can imagine that. So that's why it is current carrying coil. So, and hence they are producing magnetic field lines. So you can say whatever the force of attraction is dependent on the product of magnetization on the iron discs and the intensity of the field generated due to this current carrying coil. Okay, now what will happen, this force of attraction will be proportional to small m into h, where small m is magnetic dipole moment, because capital M, that is magnetization, is magnetic dipole moment per unit volume. So you can say force is directly proportional to small m into h, where h is magnetic field intensity. Now F will be proportional to B into h. How M is proportional to B? For that, look here. So this is a bar magnet, north pole, south pole, which is having minus m dash and plus m dash pole strength. Length is 2L total. Now let's say you want to calculate the B, magnetic flux density, at point P from the bar magnet, or at point R from the center of the bar magnet. Okay, here. Then what will be the magnetic flux density? That will be equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi 2 mr divided by r square minus l square whole square. Okay, this m is magnetic dipole moment, that is 2L into m dash, 2 into L into m dash is pole strength. So you can see B is directly proportional to m, and that is what I have given here. So this is just an example to demonstrate how B can be proportional to m. Of course there will be other magnets or some other arrangement where you will get different relation, but I just want to give you a glimpse of how B is directly proportional to small m, magnetic dipole moment. Now once you will get the magnetic force of attraction proportional to B and H. You know B is proportional to mu into B is equal to mu into H, means B is proportional to H, means you can write force of attraction is proportional to H square. You know by Biot-Savart law or Ampere-Circuital law, H is proportional to I. So you can say force of attraction is proportional to I square. And you know that torque is force into perpendicular distance. So perpendicular distance is consumed in this proportionality sign. So you can say torque is proportional to force, which is proportional to I square. Okay. So that's how you get torque proportional to I square, means via this diagram. Okay. And once you will have AC supply, then this I square will be not I square, it will be I RMS square. If you apply DC, it will be DC value. If you will apply AC, it will be RMS value square. Okay. So remember, PMMC gives DC value or average value, but moving iron gives DC value or RMS value. Okay. So that's how you can imagine how it is producing torque. So the more will be the magnetization or field of intensity, the more will be the attraction, the more will be the torque, and the more will be the deflection, okay, in the pointer. So that's how you can imagine attractive type moving iron instrument. Okay. By the way, there is another relation that will be of torque, that will be related to dl by dm, dl by d theta, that is same as PMMC1, half I square dl by d theta. That will apply here as well. Okay. So for moving iron also, if you want to write the torque equation in terms of change in the inductance, then that will be the same, which will be half I square dl by d theta. I guess this was the expression. So it was in PMMC, it will apply here as well, and for AC it will be RMS. Okay, this current. So I hope you got the feel. So I've already did the proof in PMMC, so that will apply here as well. Okay. So either you use this expression or that expression, it's equivalent. Okay, let's see moving iron repulsion type. So here also again we will neglect how controlling torque and damping torque are being made. It is by default it is either from IR damping, eddy current damping, or spring control or gravity control. Okay, so we will be focusing on deflecting torque. This is the arrangement of repulsion type moving iron. So you can see this is a circular kind of holder which is showing, I am showing one section. Okay, here from here the coil is going inside, from here the coil is coming outside, and it is in circular fashion, so that it will generate magnetic field inside it when it is excited. Okay, so now this is the spindle. You can see it is pivoted from the ends, and spindle is connected to pointer. Okay, then a fixed vane is there inside, which is connected to this circular thing, and moving vane is inside, which is connected to this spindle. So moving vane can move, but fixed vane cannot move. Okay, that's square thing, and so which is attached to this guy, circular thing. Okay, so I hope you got the feel. So now the force of repulsion will occur when you apply a excitation here, that will magnetize both of them, fixed vane magnet as well as moving vane magnet with same polarity, and that's the reason you will get. Mind you, the torques are proportional to I square, means the scale will always be non-linear. Okay, square for repulsion type and for attraction type as well. Okay, the next thing I want to mention here is in attraction type also, that also can be used for RMS value, means AC signal, because whatever the polarity of current or direction of the current will be, it will always magnetize the iron in such way that it will get inside the field. Okay, so that was the case in attraction type, and in repulsion type also, whatever the current you will apply, the polarity or direction, it will always magnetize the magnets with same polarity, and that's the reason you will get repulsion. Okay, so I hope you got the feel how torque is proportional to the current square in case of repulsion and as well as in attraction type.